guys, so today we're going to be doing a color on my beautiful mother. This is the after. Pretty much we did a partial foil and a full head color paint between, and I kind of go through the steps and the mixing with you guys, but I just wanted to show you how you can do it if you're looking to do a color on someone you know, whether you're trained or not. I guess that's your choice. This is just tips that I use and my technique as to how I do it, on her at least. So yeah, I hope you learned something and enjoy the video. So today I'm going to be using Color Brilliance. I just got this from Sally Beauty Supply. There's a couple other ones that I like to use, but today this is what I'm going to be using. It is a cream color and it is permanent. It's good for gray coverage. Alright, so today I'm going to be using 6WR-6.35 and 7WR-7.35. These are both mochas. They're classified, this is a dark golden mahogany blonde and medium golden mahogany blonde. I just want to get a level right between these because the 7 I like the tone of, that it shows the warmth, but I want to add a little bit of depth, so as far as the longevity of it, it doesn't fade as quickly. So I'm just going to mix 2 ounces of this, so 1 ounce of this one and 1 ounce of this one. Before you add your developer, you want to mix the color together first, at least if you're using more than one color, just because it's going to be easier to distribute this and then add the developer as opposed to adding it and then trying to make sure that all your colors kind of mix together. So with my mom's hair, we are deepening it. Well, if you're going the same level or lower, you can just use a 10 volume developer. So the 10 volume isn't going to lift, so it's only going to deposit or deepen. So since we're pretty much just refreshing the color and we're not lifting it as far as all over color goes, I'm just going to use 10 volume, and this is equal parts. So I have 2 ounces here, so I'm going to use 2 ounces of this. For her highlights, today I'm going to be using Salon Care Prism Lights, and I'm using the blue one as opposed to the violet because she already has a lot of warmth in her hair, and blue is complementary to orange on the color scale, so it's going to cut out any orange tones. We want to keep the red, that's why I'm not using an ash or a violet one, because I want to cut out orange, so I'm using blue. Now for this, because she's sitting at a level between 6 and 7, and I want to get her blonde highlights, but she has previously lightened her hair, so I don't want to go too crazy, so I'm just going to use 30 volume developer today. And it's okay if it seems a little thin, because as it oxidizes it's going to thicken up some more, so I always kind of start with a thinner consistency. What I'm going to do is a partial foil, so it's going to be starting from about her ears, so I'm going to get all this, all the top and the back. So just pretty much the bottom is going to be the only thing that's not colored, but since she doesn't wear her hair up frequently, then it really doesn't make that big of a difference, because the layers up here are going to bring the highlights down and give it the effect that it's pretty much a full foil. And then, after I do the foils, I'm going to do the all-over color, which we call paint between, and that's just where I go and apply the color everywhere the foils are not, so that at the end the result is a full head color and everything was touched up, and then the foils in there for highlights. And that way I don't have to do a double process or a 2-step color. I can just get it all done in one application. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to section her hair. I'm going to make a mohawk section based on where her part is. Since her part isn't directly in the middle, it's a little off to the right. I'm going to go about an inch and a half on each side and section that off. Then I'm going to go from this point where I ended this section down to her ear. This is what you should have right now. So just this is down. I'm going to start my foils right here, go up, and then afterwards this is all going to be colored the dark color. For all her foils, I'm going to do a weave as opposed to a slice. So a slice would be taking it like this and just using the full slice. A weave is taking it and then weaving out sections so that some pieces are in and some pieces fall out. The only difference that this is going to make is when you slice, it's going to be a lot more dramatic and chunky, whereas this is going to be a little more blended and refined. I'm not going to do a super small weave. What I'm going to do is kind of bigger chunks because I want there to be a lot of contrast and dimension. I don't want everything to be super uniform. I want the foils to kind of be more blended in some places and a little more piecey in others because that's just kind of like the style we go for. So I'm going to have her tilt her head down. And make sure when you are slicing a section out or picking up a section to foil that it's not really thick, because if you take a section too thick like this, then what you're doing is when you put the foil down and you go like this, all the hair in between here and underneath is not going to get hit. So at the end when you wash it out, you're going to have a big gap, or you're going to have spotting, or what we call like zebra stripes, and just it's really unflattering. So the closer you can get, or the smaller sections you can get, and the closer you can get to their scalp, the more natural the foils are going to come across, and you're not going to have any lines of demarcation anywhere. So I took a small section, and I'm just going to take my foiling comb and weave out some pieces. And then I'm going to take foil. All I do is take my comb and I put it right at the bottom here like this. And then I put that right underneath her hair and fold the hair down. So now, this is as all the way up to her scalp as it can get. And I'm going to take my blonde lightener and I'm going to start about a ½ inch away from the top of the foil. Just because if it's a lot of product and it slides up, I don't want it to get all over and then get bleeding. So then I'm going to hold them at the top here, and I'm just going to start working the color up closer and closer to the scalp. And I kind of like to take and turn it sideways and just kind of fan the color on there. And especially with this weaving technique, you're not really going to have to worry too much about any bleeding or any strong lines of demarcation, just because there's going to be other hair that's in there that's breaking it up. So this is a really good way if you have fine hair too, like my mom does, because when you have fine, thin hair, sometimes foils can look very chunky and dramatic, and this is just a good way to make sure that that doesn't happen. So what I like to do now is I fold it in half. But after that, I go back and I take my comb and I stick it in that little section, that little extra tin we have there, and I kind of push up a little bit so that I'm as high up to the scalp as I can. And then I fold that over and over. Alright, so then I'm going to go up, and I'm going to do about ½ inch sections. So about a ½ inch from my last one. Cut that up. For this specific strand, you can see that we hit a spot where there's already blonde. So it's not necessary to put the blonde everywhere because that's just going to cause damage. Since this is already blonde, it's already porous. If I put bleach over it and strip it more, it's just going to dry it out. It'll probably cause some breakage. So what I did was I pretty much just hit the regrowth, and if you want, you can kind of like fan it down a little bit. So now that I have all the foils in, we're going to go and take the all over dark brown color, and we're going to put that everywhere that the foils are not. So I like to hit her roots first, because that's where the gray is, and that is just the most stubborn hair. It's the hardest to penetrate, and sometimes it's real stubborn and resistant. So just getting the color on there first is going to help with that, but also to kind of help like make my sections, and then I just go through. Alright, so we just blow dried her, and we didn't really like flat iron or curl or anything, we just put some hairspray in there. But you can see the highlights if you want to zoom in, put your head down. So you can see all these beautiful highlights on top here. Some are chunkier, some are more blended, and we put like a lot of piecing ones in the face framing here, and you can see in the bangs.
No gray.
No gray, which is always good. But first, my mom needs a sip of her cocktail.
What's going on there? You just one big sex machine tonight, Mom. I bet I'm real cute. Was that in there? Oh my God, you're so gross. Stop. What are you doing, babe? Just checking out Kitty's reaction.